everybody, and welcome to Tridents and Tracers, the Jedi Dropout spin-off podcast that reviews brand new comics every week. I'm your host, Ryan Taylor, and we've got another exciting week of brand new comics to review here. I decided, since, first of all, we're in the middle of our MCU rankings two-part episode over at Jedi Dropouts, and since yesterday we got the Avengers Infinity War trailer that we've been waiting for fucking ever, I decided to go all Marvel this week, which is great because I've been meaning to catch up on some Marvel comics. So this week I've got Old Man Logan number 31, Venom issue 158, and X-Men Blue number 16. So, without further ado, let's jump right in. Old Man Logan 31. Now, I haven't read any. Well, actually, for all these series, I'm hopping in pretty fresh here. They're all based out of the new Marvel Legacy Initiative, which is a great hopping on point. If you haven't listened to previous episodes, I've mentioned this one before. Marvel are basically renumbering a bunch of their series to reboot and sort of create hopping on points for existing series. So, Old Man Logan 31. Now, I haven't been reading this series recently. I have obviously the Mark Millar limited series that is more well known. I've read and is fantastic. It's a Marvel classic. This is a new series that started, I can't remember if it's 2015 or 2016, to continue the Old Man Logan series. And if you're not familiar with Old Man Logan, it is Logan, of course, Wolverine, as 50 years into the future as an old man, and it is the basis that is sort of loosely used for the film Logan, which was also fucking fantastic. So Old Man Logan 31 is the first point that I know of in the series where he's not facing off against the Hulk clan. It's a brand new series, and this one has the intriguing promise of having Logan face off against the fucking Hand, which you may know from the Daredevil, Iron Fist, and Defenders series on Netflix. This is created by Ed Brisson and Mike Deodato Jr. This was a fucking hell of a comic. Right out of the gate, the artwork is amazing. Absolutely beautiful to look at, and of course, with an Old Man Logan series, it has its fair share of bloodshed and gore, and of course he's creating a bloody mess as always here. So you've got Logan is just trying to mind his own business as he would want to. Encounters some guys being, I guess, bullies of sorts, kicking the shit out of some guy in the streets, and of course he has to step in, and so on and so on. But for some reason, these guys he encounters have regenerative abilities, and you can't quite figure out why, because he knows they're not mutants, they're not Inhumans. So it turns out these guys have been using these drugs that create this. The drugs tie back to a scientist that ties back to Silver Samurai. So you're seeing that whole storyline go on. Logan get to the bottom of this drug and where it comes from and what's going on. But at the same time, we have this side story of the Silver Samurai finding out about this scientist who's been selling his drugs on the side. Of course, kills the man, throws him off the side of a building, and Silver Samurai is then ambushed by Gorgon, the Hand, and the newest weapon, or the newest villain here, the Scarlet Samurai, which is a very, very intriguing villain. That's about all that happens in the comic, but with the art style and the amount of fight scenes you're actually getting here, it is fucking phenomenal. Logan's got 2 or 3 scenes himself, not to mention Silver Samurai versus the Hand is really pretty. It's fucking cool. Definitely recommend this, and I really want to go back and read the rest of this now, because if the rest of it looks and feels like this, then it's very much up my alley. Moving right along to Venom number 158, which I read entirely because the cover and premise is Venom versus Kraven, which sounds fucking awesome. Gotta be honest, this comic was a little disappointing. It takes a very long time getting to the actual Venom versus Kraven, and the fight itself is pretty short-lived. Weirdly, a lot of dinosaur people in this comic. Not quite what I was expecting. It's not a bad comic. It's just the promise of Kraven versus Venom is such it's so enticing that the idea of this comic being the entire... Well, okay, let me stop myself right there for a second. I came in on the last issue of an arc, so I might be missing there a little bit. I might be missing something important on the previous issues. But that being said, this is supposed to be the finale of the arc. It has very clearly Venom versus Kraven on the cover, facing off, and the fight is pretty short. But that being said, when they do fight, it is pretty fucking cool. And it's not something I would recommend that much, but it's not bad, you know. And moving right along to the third comic this week, we got X-Men Blue number 16. Marvel's doing something interesting with the X-Men comics now. They've got a couple different series going on. Blue and Gold, I know, are the 2 primary ones. Now this one is the beginning of a new arc called Cross Time Capers Part 1. They've got this whole sort of time travel thing going on with X-Men right now. It's pretty interesting. The current lineup for this series, Cyclops, Jean Grey, Beast, Iceman, and Angel were the primary members, but they've since added Jimmy Hudson, who is Wolverine's son from one of the different timelines they've come through, and of course also through a different timeline they have Bloodstorm, who is a vampire version of Storm. This comic is written by Colin Bunn with art by Tony Silas, and it feels like it's a classic X-Men comic. It really does. It reminds me of old school X-Men comics, or even the old X-Men cartoons. So in this story, you've got a lot going on. The X-Men are dealing with their current place in the timeline, what timeline they're supposed to be in. Magneto is kicking around, and throughout this issue, you find out that well, first is my first introduction to Jimmy Hudson, Wolverine's son from the other timeline, and they're training him. He is also basically Wolverine, but you've also got Magneto, who has secretly built a time machine in the basement to send the X-Men back to their proper timeline because there are ripples in time, and and things are just going to absolute shit. Very, very interesting, and I'm a sucker for a good time travel story, so I'm really interested to see where this is going to go. A lot of stuff going on here. So the X-Men use this time machine to attempt to go back to their proper timeline, and the coordinates are preset by Magneto. So they pass through all these different time eras, and a lot of them, and maybe all of them, are references to other X-Men stories. You see Cyclops and Jean Grey's wedding. You see what looks to be the Dark Phoenix. I'm almost sure I saw the Apocalypse sort of thing. But what's interesting now is this comic ends up with them landing in the year 2099 and encountering the new 2099 X-Men, who are brand new characters by the looks of it. So I'll be reading more of this. And anyway, that about does it for this week. As always, I'd like to pick a favorite. I thought X-Men Blue was going to end up being my favorite of the week, but I gotta give this one to Old Man Logan 31, because that is a fucking beautiful book, and that's the one I'm going to be going back to for sure. Thanks again for listening, and as always, you can check out other episodes of Jedi Dropouts, noob reviews, or Tridents and Tracers over at www.jedidropouts.podbean.com, or on Google Play, iTunes, my god, what are the other ones? Stitcher, Podbean, and YouTube, of course. I almost forgot that one. And until next time, go read some comics. Go check out Old Man Logan. Later.